there are two rubrics that I wanted to show you. And so you guys have an idea, and I'm gonna put these up so you guys can visualize. One's gonna go over there, and one's gonna actually go up on our ELA wall. So, for the short response, which is what we're doing right now, and what you do on Fridays, okay? These are the things I will be looking for. Did you restate? Okay, that's what part of the race? What part of race is that? The restating.
R.
Very good, thank you. Everybody, what part is the restate?
R.
Okay, so I'm gonna look. Did you restate it? I did not restate the question. I restated the question, but it's unclear, meaning maybe you somewhat have the restating down, okay? And then for 2, I clearly restated the question. I can tell. So for example, we had up here, it was, what's your favorite place to eat? So in order for me to get a 2, I'm going to say my favorite place to eat is. So I've actually restated it, so I can get a 2, okay? For 0, so going back to that question, I didn't restate it at all. I just started answering it, okay? And then for 1, maybe I say my favorite place, and then I just started answering it. So I don't know what I'm talking about. My favorite place, it could be favorite place to go, favorite place to ice skate, okay? So I have to make sure that I restate and I'm very clear when I restate it. Question?
Yes, so you just read the story and then you restate the answer of the story.
I restate the question. So anytime that when we have our writing prompts, right? We have our writing prompts. And we have a question, we always restate it, right? Okay? So, on the race part, I answer it. So after I restate it, I answer it. And in race, what part is that?
A.
Very good, the A. So, I'm looking again. I incorrectly, meaning I didn't answer it, the question, or I incorrectly answer it. So if I'm talking about, again, going back to the question that I had up there, what's my favorite place to eat? And all of a sudden I started talking about going to my grandmother's house on the weekend. I didn't restate the question that it's asking, right? So I would get a 0 for that. 1, my answer is on the right track, so maybe I started talking about my favorite place to eat. Maybe I was talking about, all of a sudden I started talking about sushi, okay? Sushi is something that I like to eat, but it's not an actual place, right? Okay? And then for 2, my answer is correct, okay? So if, again, going back to my question, my favorite place to eat is McDonald's, okay? And the reason, okay, then I'm gonna explain why it's McDonald's. So I've answered it, so my favorite place to eat is McDonald's, okay? Now, when we have our do now, the next thing is cite. Can I really cite for my do now?
I did not.
Can I cite when I have my do now? It varies. I can cite it depending on what the question is asking me. Okay, so I can, and I might not be able to at times. Okay? But for our response that we're going to look at, I can always go back into the story, right? And I can check exactly. So again, for citing, I did not include evidence from the text or the evidence does not support the claim. Okay? So meaning that I went through, I restated it, I answered it, now I have to go back into the story
And explain.
and cite where in the story helps me with my answer. Okay? For 0, I didn't do it at all. Okay? I didn't do it at all. I just went from restating to answer and that's it. For 1, I used weak evidence from the text, or I only included 1 strong detail. How many details do I ask you to do? I asked you to do 6.
6.
We can, but usually I say at least 2, right? I can do more than 2, but I expect you guys to do 2, okay? So if I only did 1, I'm only going to get 1 point, okay? Now for 2, I included 2 details like I asked you to do, and says I included 2 strong details from the text to support my claim, okay? So I have to make sure that I always have 2, no matter what. I have to have 2 details from the story. So I have to go back into the text every single time and making sure that I have that information in order for me to get this 2, okay? And then the last part. So what part of race